All right, video on sticking patterns, scrunchies. So this is for the snare drums and to a lesser extent the bass drums. Not so much the quads because the drum movements kind of lock you into a particular sticking. When sticking is not indicated, you have to make some choices on what you think the sticking ought to be, and that goes into like musical knowledge. So this particular show, we're seeing like a lot of 3-beat rhythms. They're implicit with a triplet. So one of the ways that I always talked about counting triplets is to say right to the left or left to the right. And that means that whatever hand you attack on a 3-beat rhythm, you're releasing on the opposite hand. So if I start with the left hand, then I'm going to release to the right. So that makes it really easy. Left to the right or right to the left. Okay. So in measure 14 of scrunchies, we're in 12/8 time. We've got a triplet bass. So when we come in on beat 2, so 1, triplet 3. Okay. What I would do, even if the sticking wasn't indicated, that's releasing on a rim shot, which we want to be strong, which is typically our right hand. So that means that we're attacking typically on the left. So if we go 1, 2, lovely, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, for those big triplets, I can hit all these big, massive strokes on the right hand. 1, left to the right, 4, 1, 2, so I can get 1 lovely 2. I've got it left hand left into the right. So and I mentioned this to Ashton a little bit earlier today, like when we're talking about how we want to release, like that'll give you an indication of where the sticking is going to be. And that's important for the bass drums as well, because you have some of those patterns, the bass drums have some of those patterns where the sticking is implied. And then we also have to adapt it on the field as well too, for whatever head is like facing the audience, like, whatever way we want to attack or have our primary strokes could be on the left side depending on where you're facing. So those are all like choices that we have to make. So like say for example, we were talking about the triplet and so we wanted to release strong, with that right hand. But if we're turning so that our left head is facing the audience, we want that strong, depending on the music, we might want that strong note to be on that head that's facing the audience so that they get more volume out of that. So that would be a right to the left type of passage. So we always have to be thinking about what those sticking patterns are and where the music is going with them so that we can figure out how to like write a sticking pattern and enforce it. So I did you all a favor tonight. I got into MuseScore. I put in sticking patterns and, took some liberty with stuff on the snare part, but not so much with the basses. Basses are still up to you. And, one last comment. So in scrunchies with the snare drums, we have the part that goes. Okay, so if you take that pattern, 1 and a, E and, 1 and a, E and, right? Well, guess what? So it's the same pattern over and over and over and over. It's like one thing equals the other. So it's just recycling the concepts. And that's something that's always like really good to look out for in the writing, because when you only have 12 counts that you can do and you only have a right hand or a left hand, all these concepts are constantly being recycled. So if you can spot common themes in the music, like this applies to that over there and so on and so forth, that's going to make your life a lot easier from an interpretation standpoint. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook, and I'm sure I'll see you when I see you.